Barca offer Messi a 10-year deal, Solskjaer to stay with Man United, Chelsea have some big injury news, a transfer roundup, plus Friday feels, all coming up on today's OneFootball Daily News. As I'm your host Angelina Kelly, let's get into it. First up, and yes, you heard me right, according to reports in Spain, Lionel Messi has been offered a whopping 10-year contract by Barcelona as they scramble to try and keep the player at the club. Of course, Messi has now gone off on his summer holidays / international duty for Argentina with the contract on the table. And the reason that Barcelona have done this is that they have decided to take the initiative. They were going to wait for an internal audit, but that takes another 2 to 3 weeks apparently. So they have decided to strike while the iron is hot and try and get a contract on the table for him. But what does this decade-long contract look like? So it will not only involve him playing football, obviously that's a given, but the role of an ambassador at Barcelona during a possible spell in the MLS. Now obviously we have heard rumours that he was interested in a move to the MLS, and if this does happen in this deal, he would then return from the USA with a role at Barcelona Football Club afterwards. I mean, this just seems like Barcelona have been so worried with Messi obviously saying that he wanted to leave last year, and they've just thought, you know what, we are leaving no room for slip-ups, let's just plan the next 10 years of his life. However, this is not why Messi is not signing on the dotted line. Of course, he is focusing on the World Cup qualifiers for Argentina and the Copa America, which is right around the corner. He also wants to wait and see what President Joan Laporta has in store for the next season. Of course, he's giving a press conference today, so maybe he'll shed a little bit of light on some things. And Messi also wants to wait and see who is going to be in charge as the manager at Barcelona. And if you thought that the coaching drama was done and dusted, I've got some more here for you. Of course, Ronald Koeman has been in talks with Barcelona recently, reportedly about his future at the club, and apparently it's not looking good, even though according to reports in Spain they would have to pay him about 12 million euros if he was to get the sack. They could actually be doing this. Now according to a report from Fox Sport, Koeman was in hospital in Barcelona due to some anxiety issues. Hopefully he is on the road to recovery, but regarding his job at Barcelona, he could actually be out of the door. Of course, there are reports that Xavi could be taking over, and also some fresh reports in Spain that after the Champions League final, Laporta is going to be making contact with Pep Guardiola about bringing him back to Barcelona. All this means is that the merry-go-round of manager drama is nowhere near finished. In fact, it seems like it's only just getting started. However, one manager that will not be going anywhere is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. So reports state that despite the fact that they crashed out of that Champions League final in that dramatic penalty shootout, and there were some questions over Solskjaer's future, he will be staying put at the club. The Telegraph are reporting that he is actually set to pen a new 3-year contract. Of course, he's already had 2.5 seasons at the club since Jose Mourinho's departure, and in his 2 full seasons in charge, Manchester United have of course finished in the top 4 of the Premier League. They've got to a hell of a lot of semi-finals, they've even got to a final, but still no silverware. However, it is understandable why the club have decided to keep Solskjaer. At the end of the day, he brings stability. There have been improvements under him, like I say, they've been finishing in the top 4. He understands the assignment and what the club Manchester United represents and what they want, and also he does seem to have the support of the players, especially after that Europa League final when we saw Marcus Rashford's interview with BT Sports and what he had to say. He also seems to have calmed down a lot of the Pogba drama that was happening when Mourinho was at the club. So yeah, like I say, I can kind of understand why they are getting him to sign a new contract. And also, who can they realistically get? I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of managers at the moment without jobs, looking for new jobs, etc. But most of them do seem to have destinations already laid out for them. So I guess this is another reason why Solskjaer will be staying. But what this does mean is that he is ready to strengthen the squad and get some summer signings. According to The Guardian, there are 4 that he has on his wish list. First up, we've got a centre-back, of course, much needed, and apparently it is Pau Torres who could be the man for the job. He's reportedly valued at around 30 million euros. Of course, there's also Rafael Varane, but he's refusing to talk about his future at the moment as he is focusing on the Euros, but definitely they do need a centre-back. Then, of course, there's a right winger, Jadon Sancho. We have heard this story a million times now. Hopefully they can finally get that deal done. Then in midfield, you've got Declan Rice. He would be a great signing, especially in more of a defensive midfield role. Of course, West Ham are not going to want to let him go. They reportedly want about £100 million for him. They will be clinging on to him for dear life. Of course, there's Jesse Lingard, who they could use in a swap deal, but I cannot see that one happening. And then a striker in that number 9 position. Of course, it's Harry Kane. Who doesn't want Harry Kane in their team at the end of the day? However, I do feel that this one is the least likely to happen. happen, as it seems that Kane could be heading to the blue side of Manchester to Manchester City. Of course, Solskjaer is aware that adding 4 major signings is unlikely given an estimated total cost of more than £300 million and the availability of the players. Of course, they do have a lot of players that they could also free up looking at Manchester United's roster, but like I say, it's a lot of money, and I'm not too sure if realistically all 4 of these signings will be happening. Next up, and things are looking good for Chelsea as they head into the Champions League final, as they have got some great injury news about N'Golo Kante and Edouard Mendy as they are back in training and are in the squad for Saturday. The Blues have missed the services of Kante for the past few games with a hamstring injury, but on Wednesday he was back in training. Meanwhile, Edouard Mendy was also involved in overcoming a rib injury that he sustained during the final match day of the Premier League season at Aston Villa. Meanwhile, Manchester City, they don't seem to have any injury concerns as they get ready for their first Champions League final. Of course, Chelsea have had the better of Manchester City in recent fixtures in the Premier League and the FA Cup. However, I do feel that City did field maybe not their strongest teams. Quite a few of their starting 11 regulars were on the bench for these games. And to be honest, I don't think that Chelsea have actually played Manchester City's strongest side and the side that Pep Guardiola will be fielding. However, of course, City do tend to bring out the best in Chelsea, like I say, as we've seen recently. But all this means is that we are gearing up for a very, very exciting Champions League final. The main thing for Chelsea will be to make the most of their chances. I'm looking at you, Timo Werner, no more offsides, please. The London club are capable of creating scoring opportunities, but have disappointed with their inability to convert them into regular goals, so I'm hoping this is something that they manage to avoid. Meanwhile, I can't help but feel that City are slightly favourites going into this game. Of course, they have won their 11 Champions League fixtures so far. They have really gone into this final with such style in their other games that they've played. They've of course broken that quarter-final curse, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring to the table. In a recent interview, Raheem Sterling stated, "The only thing that can stop us are ourselves." And since Pep Guardiola has stopped doing what we've seen him do previously in the Champions League with Manchester City, switching up tactics and formations, etc., now that he's not doing that, I do feel like this is City's to lose. I mean, don't get me wrong, Chelsea have talent and strength and physicality, which will be tough for Manchester City. I feel like all of the form goes out the window when it comes to a Champions League final, and with this being the final piece of the puzzle for Manchester City, they've won everything else. This is the last thing that they need to achieve. I feel like they are not going to let Chelsea get in their way. And now we have our transfer roundup. This is where I take a look at some of the other news and transfers that you may have missed. So first up, the managerial merry-go-round. I thought I would give you guys a little bit of an update. So first, we have Max Allegri. It seems like in the next 24 hours, according to reports, he will be named as Juventus's new manager. Of course, this means that Real Madrid missed out on the chance of signing him as their manager, as Zidane has left the club. So what this means for Real Madrid is that they are looking at Antonio Conte, who has of course left Inter Milan, and also Mauricio Pochettino, who is at PSG at the moment. But both of these names have also been linked with the Spurs job. Are you keeping up with this one? And then, of course, there is Zidane, who I mentioned before. He has also been linked with the Spurs job. It seems like everyone's just being linked with everything. However, I have a feeling that Zidane has got his eye on the France national team job, as Didier Deschamps' contract does expire in 2022. Then to Manchester City, they are eyeing Aston Villa's Jack Grealish, as they want to make him England's first £100 million signing. And finally, defender Jerome Boateng. He is, of course, departing from Bayern Munich this summer, but he has stated he is not interested in a move to the MLS and he wants to stay in European football. And last but by no means least, we have Friday Feels. This is where we give you guys some of our predictions for the weekend's games, and you guys can give us your predictions in the comment section below, and some of the correct ones will be read out on Monday. So first up, we've got the UEFA Champions League final. What an exciting fixture. I cannot wait for this one. As I've stated already on the daily, I do feel like Manchester City are maybe more favourites for this, but you cannot underestimate Chelsea. I feel like it's going to be a really tough battle. I feel like we could actually be in store for a 0-0 at full time, but still a really exciting game. And then in extra time, Manchester City will get 1 goal and they will win 1-0. And next we have the Championship playoffs between Brentford and Swansea City. Brentford have lost 1 and won 1 already. Swansea City have drawn 1 and won 1. However, I'm not too sure what the scoreline will be, but I do think that Brentford will win this one, and on the score sheet will be Ivan Toney. Over in France, there is a relegation playoff between Nantes and Toulouse. The first leg took place last night. It ended up in Nantes winning 2-1, and I think in the second leg on Sunday, I think the final score overall will be 3-2 to Nantes. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. As always, check out all the other content that we've got here. Have a great weekend, and until next time, I will see you all later.